You gonna go on the slide? Oh, it doesn't matter, you're dry. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Cat Crafty Knits Podcast. I had to think about that then. I think I'm going to have to start saying the next episode because I actually quite frankly didn't think I'd make it to 7 episodes, and now I'm at 7 episodes. I think I'm going to start forgetting the number that we're on. This episode is a catch-up from my last, really. We are back from holiday now, obviously. I come to you from my bedroom floor again. Slightly different angle, almost exactly the same place, but just the opposite way round. Usually you look at me and the window. Once again, it's a really miserable day here in Devon, and to make the most of the light, I have switched things around, so the camera, or the window, is behind the camera now. Hopefully it works. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to show you. So yeah, apologies if you didn't like seeing our holiday footage at the beginning of the episode. I did put a timestamp on the screen to allow you to skip it if you wanted to, so hopefully you did. If not, I hope you enjoyed. We really had a lovely time. We went to kind of like the west coast, work out which way around we are, west coast of France. Not really far down, but not kind of up near the top either, so it was a decent drive from the ferry. We went from Plymouth to Roscoff, and then it was about a 4-hour, 45-minute journey, I think, from there. And yeah, it was really good fun. The journey back was interesting. We had to leave quite early. I think we left about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get back here in Devon until about 11:30 in the evening. It was a very, very long day for the kids. But yeah, they did really super fantastic, and yeah, it was good fun. And like, we did it last year. We'll probably do it again next year. Maybe not exactly the same place, but yeah, it was fun. But shall we talk about the knitting projects? Because I had so much I wanted to take with me. I did refrain from quite a lot of the plans that I talked about, and I still took too much with me. There was still one project that went and came back in the same state that it went. Let's talk about what I'm wearing first, actually, quickly, shall we? What am I wearing? I am wearing my Over the Ocean jumper. This is the adult version of this pattern, and I plan to release it. Well, actually, I plan to release it tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday, the 7th of September, and I really wanted to get this pattern released for my birthday because I thought that'd be quite fun. However, I've had so much to do, so going on holiday and then the amount of work that I've had to do since being back from holiday has just been, it's just not quite happened. Like, it's nearly there, but there's just too much admin for me to do in time for a release tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Partly because some of you might have seen that I've announced on Instagram and, well, I guess to the world, one of the other projects I've been working on recently, which is open pattern format. I'm not going to go into loads of detail with it now because there's quite a lot to cover, and it's quite, it's an in-depth topic, and we're here to talk about my holiday whips, not my other project. But for that, I wanted to get the patterns ready on open pattern format to release at the same time as the PDF, and they're not ready yet. Or it's not ready yet. I say there because actually the kids pattern for OPAF has already been done. It just needs me to check it and to make sure it's all right before I take and go on that one. And then this one will need doing from, I say scratch, it won't be from scratch because there's a lot of the work already been done. But yeah, anyway, it doesn't make any sense until I talk about it properly, so should we move on? This, let me show you the sleeves. Is that going to focus? Can you see all that texture? I hope that's getting it. If it's not, I will put in the video of this and maybe a picture, which I've done a few times, I know, but yeah, see it again because I'm going to keep talking about it. So instead of releasing this tomorrow, like the original plan, what I'm going to do instead is run a birthday sale. So if you fancy getting 35% off any of my patterns through the rest of this month, I think I've set the limit date or like the end date as the 28th. So yeah, if you want to get 35% off, guess how old I'm going to be, percent off my patterns, then use the code halfway to 40. I'll put it on the screen, halfway till 40. So the plan is to run the 35% off birthday sale to the end of the month, and that will then coincide with the introductory sale for this pattern. So when this one's released, I am now aiming for Saturday the 14th of September. The discount code will also work for this one for the rest of the month. However, if you'd like to get a little bit more discount, head over to my website and sign up to my mailing list, because I always give my subscribers on my mailing list a little bit of an extra bumpy good discount. My brain's a little bit all over the place this afternoon. I'm expecting either a phone call or an email, and as much as you try and put these things to the back of your mind, when you expect something, it kind of is something that you think, oh, keep checking my watch because my notifications come on my watch, or keep checking my phone. So I'm trying to ignore it and try not to think about it and just carry on. But yeah, scatterbrain as always. You kind of going to get used to it with me, aren't you? Let's get into the proper knitting, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to show you is a project that never made it in the bag. So I had 2 sets of sock projects already on the go from a long time ago, the 2 sporty sock shorty patterns that are just made up in my head. I used for both the short row shaping cuff from my Speckle Pop Socks, and both of these socks were kind of test socks to test the construction and the shaping before doing the sample for the Speckle Pop Socks. And they'd just been languishing on my needles for a long time. As you can see, this one's still languishing. I didn't take it with me in the end. Still got 1 sock done and that one to go. So that one didn't make it, but the other ones did. So these are my husband's version, and they're a bit scruffed up because they've been in his drawer. Yeah, this was my first and only finished object while away. So yeah, I'm really pleased to have these done and off the needles. They look enormous. Like, he has fairly big feet. They're size 10 feet. But I think without the leg portion, it makes the foot look really, really long. It's quite hilarious, really, isn't it? So yeah, pleased to get those off the needles. The reason I didn't take the other sock with me, the other unfinished one, was simply because I'm at the point, bring it back over again, I'm at the point of needing to think about doing the short row shaping, and I just couldn't really be bothered on holiday. I spoke in the last episode about wanting something that was fairly mindless to knit because I didn't want anything that I was likely to mess up where I'm not paying 100% attention all the time, and I figured that working short rows in rib, even though it's my own pattern and I've done it several times, is probably one of those things that I just can't be bothered to concentrate on, or I'm likely to get wrong if I try. So yeah, that's why I didn't make it. But speaking of normal or straightforward, as soon as I finished those socks on holiday, I cast on my sock tube that I was talking about wanting to knit. So this is my yarn. It's all untangled in the bag, or unraveled. That's my yarn. Is that going to focus? So this is Stripy Cat yarns in the colourway Platform 9 3/4, and this is as far as I got with my sock tube. I think I explained in the last episode that this yarn is a 50 gram main colour or stripy main colour and 25 mini, and usually I use around 70-75 grams of sock yarn for my husband's sock. So I couldn't really be bothered with working out how much I needed for this and how much I needed for that and where to put things and to make sure that I had 2 socks that were the same and didn't run out of yarn. So that's why I wanted to do the sock tube. And as you can see, I've pretty much, I think I weighed this before coming up to film, and there's 28 grams of the 50 grams left. So I've almost used half already. And yeah, that's just gone round and round and round. And it's been really fun project to knit. I've mainly knit this in the car on the way back. I've just realised I maybe made a mistake there. I don't know if that's going to show on screen, but on my pattern on the wrong side, I've got too many knit stitches when that should be knit and purl. So yeah, anyway, what I meant to be showing you is this front panel is a broken rib. My phone's gone. Hello? Bye. That was the phone call I was expecting then. Where was I speaking? I don't know what I was saying. On the front of this sock, I have done some broken rib, and that's just going to run up all the front of the toe or the foot and the leg, and obviously then into the second sock, as I'm just going to keep going and going and going. And I did that because actually my husband quite likes kind of ribbed socks, and being a sock tube and not knowing where I was going to put the heel, I wasn't going to work out then where I then had to put the pattern on the back to have the pattern all the way around the leg of the sock. So it's just going to be up the front only, and then it's plain on the back. And yeah. As I said before, I haven't done much kind of afterthought heel construction or done it much of that before. So although I know how to do it in Principle, it'd be quite fun having a play with this. And that's kind of what I wanted from a lot of my holiday knitting, is just messing around with things that I'm not necessarily used to or wouldn't necessarily do normally. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on. I've literally got my bag here that I haven't even unpacked since going on holiday because I just thought it'd be easier. I've even got leftover yarn from the first sock, or the sock that I finished. So in here I also have, let's go with this one first. This is another project that I got ready to take with me and work on, and it stayed in the bag the whole time. So you're all going to recognise this. This is my autumn pullover. It is on the needles. I just didn't do any while away. So as I said in the last episode, I planned to get this back on the needles to work, so ready to work on while away, because I didn't want to faff around with kind of the cast on and risking getting it wrong for the second time. So I wanted to get it back on the needles and to a point where I could just knit. So I did all of the back shaping. You're not really going to be able to see it because it's really very little on there. All of the back shaping. And all that now needs to happen is to introduce the fluff and then, yeah, knit. I just need to knit the back panel nice and straight. That's all that needs to happen. So I got this in a really good point to take. And then, yeah, just didn't get it out of the bag. Didn't do it. But that's mainly because, other than concentrating on the sock tube, I worked on my hand spun. I won't pull the balls out because they keep falling apart a little bit. So this is my hand spun yarn in all its glory. Isn't that beautiful? I love this so much. It's really nice working with something that you spun yourself. Like, it feels really quite special. It's full of my hair. Sorry. So this is going to be, well, I hadn't really decided in the last episode what it was going to be, was it? I did talk about it being an any day sweater by Isolde, but it didn't end up being that. it is the other one I spoke about, which was the Caramelli sweater by Vera Valimaki. And this is a completely finished back panel. I mean, you can see it's where it's all scrunched up, because I prepared to then do the next section after finishing the back panel and realised it was picking up stitches and things, and yeah, carried on with my sock instead basically. So my next job to do, so this is the back panel, and then from here, the edge, I need to pick up my stitches, then start so the shoulder can come over. And with that is shaping, so it's picking up stitches and a little bit more shaping. This was really easy shaping because it's literally a knit front, back, front at the end of each row, or at each end of a right side row, sorry, not the end of each row, end of each right side row. With this, like I think I said, I have, and I don't know if it is, will the light come through it? No, I don't think it really shows here, but I've alternated my skeins because I was saying that I had one skein that was slightly heavier weight than the rest of the skeins, and I thought the back panel was probably a good place to try and incorporate that, and I probably will do with the front as well, just because the sweater kind of hangs off that bit, doesn't it? So actually if the thicker weight yarn is in that section rather than heavier at the bottom, I mean, that kind of makes sense in my head. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So yeah, that's that one. Exciting. I really enjoyed working this, and I'm looking forward to continuing with that. So I hope now that I'm back from holiday, I kind of don't lose steam with that. That's what tends to happen. I will come back and I will get back on with the worky things again, like the shawl. The shawl that I'm not showing this week. It's going to be the first week in weeks I haven't shown it, simply because I haven't done anything on it because I've been on holiday and I've just not got my head back into it yet. So yeah, I think this is going to be a fairly brief episode today, because for the most part that's all I've really worked on. I mean, I think I've done good progress. I've got like basically a sock and the back panel of a jumper and my Elton pullover back on the needle, so I kind of can't complain too much, surely. Oh, and I finished object. Like a couple of weeks, that's quite good for me, but you can tell that that's because I've not been working and I've been hobbying. So yeah, that's me today, I think. My head's a little bit all over the place after that phone call and I need to go decompress, I think. My coffee's got cold, so maybe I should go stick that in the microwave and enjoy that. I have just under an hour from when the kids come home from school. I guess that's a bit of more life news, if you can cope with more life news this episode. I know it's been very holiday heavy already. But my littlest, Oscar, started school yesterday. Both of my babies are at school now, like... I'm not sure whether that's a good or a bad thing. Like, don't get me wrong. He's ready to move on now, but for a long time he didn't feel like he was ever going to be ready. And yeah, all of a sudden my babies are growing up, and it means I get a bit more freedom too, don't get me wrong. But they're also my babies, and they won't ever be back to being actual babies. So yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more emotional about it than I thought I'd be. But yeah, he absolutely loved his first day. I took a little bit of footage of him walking up the road or up the lane past our house to school yesterday morning, so maybe I'll insert that at the end so you can just see how cute he looks holding his sister's hand. Yeah, another chapter. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly had a really lovely time away and a really lovely time working on things that weren't work. I'll be back super soon with another episode, probably to talk a bit more about OPAF or open pattern format, make a bit more sense to you, and yeah, possibly got a collaboration podcast coming up as well, but I need to speak to the person about that. cryptic. Happy knitting, guys. Have a lovely afternoon and a lovely weekend ahead. I don't have any plans for my birthday, but I'm going to be chilled. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.